G'day mates, it's your old friend, the Salamander Dundee. Today we are standing here atop the famed Forsh Mountain here in central Arkansas, a part of the Ouachita Mountain Range. I'm here with my sidekicks Sally and Mandy, each of who are experts in this area.
That's right, Salamander Dundee. Mandy and I both grew up running around the forest in the Ouachita Mountains.
One of our favorite memories of growing up was looking at the Forsh Mountain salamander, a species that is only found here on this mountain right here. If you go anywhere else in this mountain range, you won't be able to find these salamanders.
What an incredible species. We are going to do our best to find one of these remarkable animals later. First, mates, let's learn a little bit about what makes this species so special.
Well, as Mandy was describing, these Forsh Mountain salamanders only occur here, making them an endemic species. Arkansas actually has 3 endemic species.
An endemic species is limited to living in only one geographic region. This region can range from a tiny area, like a mountaintop here, or to a whole continent.
These species might be native to the area, meaning that these species was started there, so we know that the very first of these salamanders were born here, and we haven't really moved since.
Now, let's take a look at what makes this mountain so special for these wonderful creatures to be able to live only here. The Ouachita Mountains make a perfect home for this group, having a very unique configuration. You see, most of the major mountain ranges in North America align their ridges from the north to the south. But the Ouachita Mountains are very special in that they are one of the few that align their ridges from the east to the west.
This pattern leaves a south-facing ridge that is highly exposed to sunlight. This overwhelming sunlight makes the south side of the mountains dry and nutrient-poor.
On the other side of the mountain, where there's protection from the brutal sun, there's an abundance of vegetation and diverse hardwood, including the maple leaf oak like we see here, and if we can find any others.
The north-facing ridges makes the perfect niche for the salamanders of interest today.
One more key characteristic is the watershed formed between the Arkansas and the Red River basins, providing a perfect damp environment for the Forsh Mountain top. Let's head down to the connection of these rivers to find out why it's so important for these salamanders. Here we are at the meeting point of the Red and Arkansas rivers. As you can see, this is a large watershed, supplying the vegetative areas around it with much needed water. The moisture in the environment is absolutely necessary for these salamanders, who rely on cutaneous respiration to survive.
Cutaneous respiration is such a special characteristic. There are only a handful of animals that do this. It's essentially breathing through the skin.
Wouldn't that be cool?
These animals rely solely on this form of respiration, as they are actually lungless. Gas exchange occurs via diffusion across the skin's membrane, facilitated by a thin layer of keratin.
Because this layer of skin is so thin, the salamanders run a major risk of hydration loss, which is why they must stay near a water source. You can typically find these guys hiding out in caves, under logs, and in wet rock crevices.
Speaking of finding them, let's look for one now. What do y'all think?
I think it's a good idea.
Let's do it. It might be a little hard for us to see today, Dundee. They typically only emerge from their moist hiding spots during the months of April and May.
Darn.
That's right. Their breeding period falls during the wettest months of the year, following the first of the biggest rainfall in April. The salamanders will come out just long enough to reproduce.
Otherwise, they'll just stay under their rocks. So let's go hunting for one.
Let's go.
Let's see. Let's chuck under this log. Crikey! Look at this beautiful creature right here, guys.
Oh my
Look at those orange spots on him and that black skin.
Oh my
Beauty.
Wow.
That is so cool.
I can't believe we found one.
Touch it, Mandy.
Oh.
Oh my word.
Would you like to hear an even more fascinating story of these animals, Dundee?
I'd love to.
They really are a local legend for us Arkansans.
Nice.
Well, Mandy, I think we need to come back later tonight when it's a little darker so we can really get a good look at it.
That's a good idea.
Good
Let's
idea,
do it.
guys.
Do it.
Here we are, but I don't get it. Why the fire? Let's hear the story.
Well, this is how the salamanders became a legend. Remember how they like to hide under logs and only come out for breeding season?
That's not really the only time they'll come out. The Ouachita Mountains are a huge tourist spot, seeing thousands of campers every year. Campers will often pick up one of these logs, not realizing what's hiding underneath.
So when the campers set the logs on fire, the salamanders run out, trying to escape, oftentimes scaring the unexpected campers.
What?
This funny scene has made many people believe that the salamanders are actually produced from the fire, making for a great campfire trick.
Whoa, isn't that a great story?
Pretty great.
That's all the time we have. Thank you, ladies, for joining my search for these legendary Forsh Mountain salamanders. I've sure learned a lot about how special they are. Until next time, I'm Salamander Dundee.